My name is Michael Barry. I'm Senior Manager for Economy and Place at Cumbria County Council. And I was asked today just to give 7 minutes on the Cumbria Transport Infrastructure Plan, which is a bit of a tall order given the scope of that document. Over. I think we've touched on it a few times today, but I think I can't, from a local authority perspective, not mention local government reorganisation. And just to flag, I think most of you are aware of this, but for those of you who aren't, from April 2023, the 7 councils in Cumbria at the moment, the County Council in 6 districts, are going to be reorganised into Westmoreland and Furness Council and Cumberland Council. And they will become at that point the local transport authorities. I should also say, up until that point, the sovereign authorities remain and will deliver their services and policies as they are today. Now, I think in terms of our plan and our strategy, I think we're clear in Cumbria that transport is at the heart of successful places. Cumbria is a big place, and its size, sparsity of population, and general rural nature is a very significant consideration in terms of transport, though. It does create a need for people often to travel further for jobs, to meet friends and family, and to access services. But in parallel, for many urban and rural communities, transport-related exclusion and well-being is a real issue. And just to help address that, we recognise the need for our transport offer to be attractive, competitive, and importantly, to make sure we are decarbonising. So the Cumbria Transport Infrastructure Plan was adopted in February 2022. It sets out a policy framework for transport up to 37 and is our local transport plan. It seeks to support transport decarbonisation alongside improved connectivity to support inclusive growth, and its 3 broad objectives surrounding clean and healthy Cumbria, connected Cumbria, and community Cumbria. I should flag that following local government reorganisation, this plan will be passed to new authorities and will be used in turn to inform their new policies and their own local transport plans. At the heart of the plan, though, is the ambition to support inclusive access. I touched on that earlier on. And really, we want to give more people greater choices in how they travel within Cumbria. In particular, we see the integration of transport modes, but also the role of transport at the heart of our places as being critical. We think that in turn could support positive behavioural change, inclusive growth, access to opportunity, and decarbonisation. It can also in turn support the greater shaping of our physical and infrastructure priorities, but also the role of digital infrastructure. And we see this all part as a virtuous self-recycling circle or self-progressing circle. In our plan, active travel is a huge consideration, and we see it as really important in support and our ambition. We have a long-term commitment to improving cycling and walking within the county, and we have an ambition for Cumbria to be known as one of the best places to cycle and walk in the UK. In supporting this, the plan has 3 key areas of development, including creating high-quality local networks, achieving good connections between our main settlements, delivering new traffic-free trails, looking to deliver well-designed improvements, looking to promote the role of cycle hubs in places, and finally to support the role of cycling and actually improving the well-being and health of our communities. In terms of our strategy, we have a strategic and probably local focus. In terms of strategic corridors, we've identified 5 active travel strategic corridors along Hadrian's Wall on the west coast, the Eden and Lune valleys, the North Lakes and Pennines, what we call the Heart of the Lakes, and Morecambe Bay. And the focus for these is to improve our long distance cycling networks, connecting towns, provide an opportunity for longer distance community and improved recreational cycling offer. And we're now in the process of developing active travel strategies for each of those corridors, and what they will do in turn is set out what they mean in practice and help to try and support the case for securing investment for their delivery. Supporting localised improvements, we are developing 6 local and transport cycling and walking plans, or LCWIPs, in Barrow, Carlisle, Kendal, Penrith, Whitehaven and Workington. These are all now in place. And the approach intends to help us understand how people will travel and what interventions are needed to better encourage walking and cycling. And they aim to fundamentally support modal shift, particularly for shorter journeys, and we're now in the process of developing those routes in greater detail, trying to make sure we have deliverable pipelines which we can try and secure investment towards delivery. More broadly, and there's a lot more to promoting transport decarbonisation, and the CTIP looks at a network approach. In terms of rail transport, we are focused on trying to improve our station offers, including accessibility, and looking to also enhance their role as key nodes within our town centres. I think there's no question that the rail network is facing real difficulties at the moment. We remain ambitious about working with Transport for the North Network Rail and the rail operators to improve our infrastructure, to improve our services, to drive decarbonisation as well. For bus travel, our plan supports the delivery of a bus service improvement plan, and that includes focus on improving services, infrastructure, and a move towards decarbonisation. And supporting that, we're delivering rural mobility pilots now out of 4 towns within Cumbria. In terms of zero emissions vehicles, we're looking to work with public sector partners to identify priority locations for delivery of infrastructure, to understand potential areas of market failure. And we're also working with the electricity industry to understand network capacity and how and when that may be improved to ensure we have the supply we need when we need it, where we need it, when we need it. And finally, there's a real emphasis on integration. We're looking to link active and sustainable travel improvements with the regeneration of our towns and land use planning, but also to promote the role of digital infrastructure and reducing the need to travel and supporting transport innovation. Now, the plan itself seeks, as I said, fundamentally seeks to provide greater options and choices, but it also flags some areas of additional work we need to consider further and further develop, and we're keen to work with partners on these. And that includes what does better sustainable access look like in rural areas? How can concepts like 20-minute communities, 30-minute neighbourhoods be applied in an effective way in rural areas? How we can better monitor the resilience and reliability of our transport networks. It's a huge issue in Cumbria, being able to ensure journeys that can be made in a reliable way. We want to get a better understanding of what the full range of alternative fuel provision might look like in Cumbria, where those failures might exist and how we can work to address them. And finally, we're keen to understand better new models and alternative models for the delivery of rural transport services. And we're looking to bring these forward in transport rural mobility framework. I have 2 slides, if I can just do them in a minute, if that's okay. Firstly, I need to flag this. Funding for this is extremely constrained. We're in a situation where we generally have to bid for funding, and that's often a competitive process. So we are trying to develop our project pipelines and also work in partnership with a range of government agencies. And finally, just to flag, probably end where I started, we are going into local government reorganisation. The new councils ultimately will be in charge of new policy for the 2 authorities from April 2023, and at the moment they're developing their transport and strategy. So there's a lot happening, a lot more to happen. So thank you very much.